Wednesday night. The big story, Kapil Sibal has exited the Congress, the latest high-profile exit from the Congress party. Where does that leave the so-called G23, the group of rebels? We'll have Kapil Sibal telling us why he's left the party that he was with for 3 decades. Also, a US school shooting that has shocked the world. More than 20 students and teachers shot dead. What does it say about the gun culture in that country? More on that in a moment. But first, as always, it's time for the 9 headlines at 9. An NIA court gives life imprisonment to Yasin Malik, the Kashmiri separatist leader found guilty under 7 UAPA charges, including waging war against India and terror funding. Protests erupt in the Kashmir Valley over targeted killings once again. Anger over terrorists attacking a 9-year-old Safa, shooting her policeman father dead in broad daylight. Another big setback to the Congress. 2-time Union Minister, senior Congress leader Kapil Sibal dumps party, files Rajya Sabha nomination from Uttar Pradesh with Samajwadi Party support. After CBI, Enforcement Directorate now books former Finance Minister's son, Karti Chidambaram, for alleged money laundering in a Chinese visa scam. No stopping the horrifying street murders in Chennai. BJP functionary hacked with sickle 2 days before Prime Minister Modi's trip to the city. Heat on the Stalin government. Fresh curbs on sugar exports to contain inflation. Restricted by the government to 10 million tons a day. This a day after import duties on edible oils are reduced. Government sources say BPCL privatization is not off the table. Centre to re-invite competitive bidding process for all assets of BPCL. SpiceJet ground systems allegedly hit by a ransomware attack results in long queues at airports and delays in flights. The airline IT team rectifies the situation now. And a teen gunman kills 19 children, 2 teachers in a horrific Texas school shooting. US President Joe Biden calls for fresh curbs on firearms as shock and anger erupts across the United States. But our top story tonight is the massive blow once again, or a blow to the Congress party once again, because veteran leader, former union minister, and one of the Congress's biggest legal voices, Kapil Sibal, has left the party. Sibal, who fronted the so-called G23 rebel group that was calling for reforms in the Congress party over the last 2 years, said he quit the party on 16 May. Today, he was accompanied by Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav while filing a nomination for the Rajya Sabha with the SP's support in Lucknow. After filing the nomination, Sibal said that he wants to be an independent voice in the Rajya Sabha and he will take on the Modi government there. Sibal's exit comes just days after Patidar leader Hardik Patel and the Congress's Punjab face Sunil Jakhar had also quit the party. I spoke to Kapil Sibal earlier today to find out why had Kapil Sibal chosen to take this big step. Listen in to Sibal Unplugged. And joining us now is today's newsmaker of the day, the former Congress leader and union minister, Kapil Sibal, who's just filed his nomination for the Rajya Sabha, supported by the Samajwadi Party. Mr. Sibal, is this the end of the chapter? I use the word ex-Congress leader. Is it all over for you with the Congress party with which you were for more than 2 decades?
You cannot say anything about the future, right? At the moment, I want to be an independent voice in this country. And I believe there are hardly any independent voices in Parliament. Everybody is tied to the coattails of a political party. So members of Parliament cannot speak their mind. It is time that in a democracy as large as India, as significant as the largest democracy in the world, there are no independent voices in Parliament.
But are you truly independent because you're taking the support of the Samajwadi Party? You haven't joined them. but you've taken their support. So effectively, you will be batting for the Samajwadi Party in Parliament or for the opposition. What is your role? What is the role you see for yourself? And you've left the Congress.
What does an independent member mean? He's independent of political parties. They may have supported me, but it is their graciousness. It is their generosity that they accepted this. Which political party accepts, one seat being lost by them and giving it to a person who stands as an independent? No political party does it. I think
that's because you've appeared in several cases for them.
I've appeared in several cases for several other parties also. You tell me which party I've not appeared for. I've appeared for DMK. I've appeared for Anna DMK. I have appeared for Samajwadi. I got them the symbol of the cycle. I've appeared for Mayawati. I've appeared for So you had a basket of options, but the key issue is your decision. The key decision, Mr. Sibal, is your decision to leave the Congress, because until now you were seen as the rebel voice within the Congress. The so-called G23, you were the one voice calling for the Gandhis to, in a sense, step aside and a new leadership. Is that the core reason why you left? Let's now call a spade a spade. Look, Rajdeep, I am not given to living in the past. I am given to thinking of the future. And I think my country's future is more important than start talking about why I left the Congress and why didn't I remain in the Congress. There's a time when, in a man's life, when you decide that it's time for me to move forward, be a voice in the opposition that's not tied to any political party. And that voice must reflect the needs of the people of this country, which are not being dealt with at all. Nobody is bothered about the real problems of our country. It is politics, politics, and politics alone that seems to reverberate throughout the House.
No, but do I sense a sense of disillusionment? Someone who for the last 2 years has been consistently raising a voice, in a sense, within the Congress, that you need change, you need to break the status quo, you need to find a new leadership. Others seem to be aligned with you, but none of them spoke out. You were the one person who spoke out, and eventually it appears, particularly after the Udaipur Chintan Shivir, that the Congress has decided that the Gandhis are going nowhere. So is this a sense of disillusionment that has led you to take this step?
You're a very clever journalist and you're trying to persuade me to do something about what happened and why I left. I think that you leave that alone, because that's a matter of the past. I was for 31 years in this party. I was brought into this party by Rajiv Gandhi ji. And I served this party to the best of my ability. I have no angst, no anger, no grievances. It's time for me to move on. And that's why I have decided to be, and they have graciously accepted that. Azam Khan, Shivpal, Akhilesh ji have agreed that yes, through their support, I can be an independent voice in the House, and I'm grateful to them.
So no regrets that someone who gave, as you say, 30 years to the party eventually found that he was a voice in the wilderness, that even those who you thought would come along with you, the Ghulam Nabi Azads, the Anand Sharmas, the so-called G23, none of them have spoken out in support of anything that you said eventually in public.
You can keep on taking their names. You're not going to get any answers from me. I have great respect for all of them. They are my friends. I don't want to say anything. I'll never say anything. I'll never say anything against the Gandhis either. When I was in the party, I had the right to raise my voice. I'm not in the party anymore. Why should I comment on a party of which I do not belong today? Therefore, I will not comment. It is for them to decide what their future should be, how they should rejuvenate the party, and how that party should be at the forefront of national politics.
Your views have not changed, though, on the Congress party at the moment, that it needs change.
Whether my views have changed or not, I'm an outsider. I'm nobody to comment on that.
The reason I'm asking you this, Mr. Sibal, is because the state of the opposition in this country at the moment is a cause of concern for many, that India doesn't have a strong, viable opposition. That's one of the reasons why it appears that it's Mr. Modi all the way. Is that how you see it, that the opposition is facing a serious credibility crisis in this country?
One of the reasons why I have done what I have done, that my effort will be to try and bring about all the opposition parties on one platform so that we can fight this juggernaut. And I think we should all be prepared for 2024. Unite all those who are in the opposition and on one platform fight the BJP.
That's
one of the reasons why I have done what I have done.
You want all the opposition parties to come together, all the non-BJP parties to come together, and you will try to work towards that.
Yes, that's my aim.
The reason I'm asking you this is the cynics and the skeptics will say, here is Kapil Sibal, who was speaking about against dynastical politics in the Congress, now goes and joins a party which is as dynastical as anyone else, or takes the support of the Samajwadi Party.
Very clever journalists, when you say joins the party, sometimes...
Takes the support.
I take the support of every party. I've taken the support of every party in this country. Why do you say takes... See, somebody has supported me to come to Rajya Sabha. On whose terms? That we will support you even if you are an independent candidate. So why are you mixing two things up altogether?
But I still come back to the state of the opposition, which is Kapil Sibal today takes the support of the Samajwadi Party. The Congress doesn't seem to be going anywhere, as the Chintan Shivir seems to suggest. They believe that they are moving in a particular direction. Where does that leave the opposition? I want to know, who do you see? You say 2024, you want to bring all the parties together. Do you really believe you have the time, and do you really believe that there is a leader who can actually take on a Mr. Modi and the BJP?
Therefore, we should live in despair and not hope for change, not hope for people getting together. If the media is in such a bad state as it is today, and you are the one who raises voices against the media, you have no hopes that it will change.
Why are you bringing the media in? I'm asking.
You have been talking about what a disgraceful situation the media itself is in, but yet you speak voice. You are the sane voice of hope in the media. I hopefully will be the same voice of politics in politics.
But do you believe that in 2 years you can actually bring together parties to take on the BJP juggernaut? Is Kapil Sibal, who is not seen as a mass leader, living in a bit of a bubble?
Let me assume I'm no leader at all, but I do have a voice. I will raise that voice. I'll let the leadership be done by others. I will try and ensure that people try and come together. I am no leader at all, neither a mass leader or any leader, but I do have a conscience and I do have a voice. I hope people listen to me.
My final question, therefore, to you, if you had any piece of advice to the Congress party, and I'm sure you have, what would that be? Because you're talking about bringing parties together. If you're talking about bringing parties together, what is that advice that you would give the Congress party, which at the moment seems to be struggling to take on, as I said, the BJP both electorally, ideologically and organizationally?
I am no one to give any advice to the Congress party. The Congress leaders within the Congress party will get together and decide what they want to do for the future.
So you're not ruling out the possibility that the Congress also will be part of this grand coalition that you would like to create. You accept that the Congress, because Sharad Pawar has been very clear that any coalition for the future, opposition coalition, will need to involve the Congress party. Do you also share that?
I already told you all political parties must come together. Did I exclude the Congress? No. All political parties must come together.
My final question. Has all of this happened with a sense of frustration? I know that you've felt very strongly about a few issues. Do you feel frustrated that no one eventually listened or came along with you within the party? Has the Congress even lost that capacity to actually have these debates and dialogues within the party?
Saying all these things about the Congress, which I have not endorsed at all. Okay, you keep on saying them, and I'm not going to endorse it. But let me tell you this.
You said them in the past. That
As
there
I
is
said,
no
I'm not going
inner party dialogue.
I am not in the Congress anymore. If I were in the party, I could have spoken.
As you did at the time.
Whether I did or not, you know. Now, in fact, if I have a case to fight, right, and people say it's not much of a case, right? What do? I fight, and many a times I win. So don't be despondent. There are things that happen in life which cannot be predicted now, may happen tomorrow. We may all get together to fight the present dispensation.
And what will you tell your critics who will say, look at Kapil Sibal, did he just want a Rajya Sabha seat, or was it something much more than that this fight was?
Rajya Sabha seat, I could get it from anybody, joining any party. No problem. But remember what I said. I said, over my dead body will I ever join the BJP, and I will never join any political party. I said that publicly. I have stood by that. Political parties could have told me, we will not give you a ticket. I would not have been in politics. I would not be in Rajya Sabha.
So So this is not a battle for a post or a position. This is a battle for
I need not be in Rajya Sabha even to be a voice, quite frankly.
But you've chosen that.
I've chosen that because people agreed. The Samajwadi very kindly, graciously agreed for me to be that voice.
But sir, I'm sorry I must push this because in the last couple of weeks, we've seen several others also depart, high-profile departures, like the Hardik Patels of the world. We've seen Sunil Jakhar leave, all of which raises the question, is there something intrinsically wrong with the Congress party or not?
I'm not here as a commentator now to start talking about other political parties. Let me do my job, for which I have hoped to enter Rajya Sabha very soon.
Mr. Kapil Sibal, as always, a pleasure talking to you. Thanks very much. Kapil Sibal, who says that he hopes to bring the opposition parties together and will remain an independent voice, is what he claims in Parliament and outside. Rajdeep Sardesai for India Today.
So is this the end of the road for the so-called G23 rebellion within the Congress? Is the challenge to the Gandhis that was allegedly there within the party now over? Was Kapil Sibal the last voice ready to take them on from within the party? Joining me now is Sanjay Jha. Remember, Sanjay was suspended as the Congress spokesperson for speaking out. Also joining me, Ghanshyam Tiwari of the